There is a professional and ethical dilemma that occurs when the subjective urge arises for a counselor to disclose that they can relate to their client's struggle on a personal level, as they are too in recovery. What are the clinical and therapeutic advantages or disadvantages of self-disclosure of their own recovery in the field of alcohol and substance abuse counseling? There is a decision-making process and implementation that will be explained in this presentation, whereby the counselor can make a responsible, ethical decision based on criteria that will be the most advantageous to the client.
The National Institute on Drug Abuse, NIDA, does have a position on counselor self-disclosure. And it is, pay attention because you could see this on a quiz, use your own judgment, preferably in consultation with a supervisor. Now, I get into supervision a little bit more in some of the ethics courses, if you're interested. And that position is, it is your professional and ethical responsibility to seek out and utilize clinical supervision throughout your career as a counselor. So not just on self-disclosure, but if any issue comes up where it could be detrimental to the client, it's your responsibility to seek out clinical supervision. And if you are a clinical supervisor, you want to keep your door open for if anything comes up, that the counselors can come and discuss that with you.
Who would be affected by the decision to self-disclose? The client. The client.
And the
counselor.
Right.
And the counselor. Both would be affected. Right? Both. There would be an effect on both. Okay?
The client is not bound by any confidentiality.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, who would be affected? The client and the counselor. So this is the decision that you are going to make that is going to have an effect on both people. Okay? So let me read my notes on this. Oftentimes in this field, when working with addicts, a counselor will hear this statement from the client. What do you know about addiction? How can you help me? Everything you've learned from a book. Okay? If the counselor is in fact themselves in recovery, sometimes for many years and doing well, that would make the client's perception false. Right? So you tell them, you tell them they're false in their perception. Okay? The therapist will know full well and firsthand the insanity of substance use disorder. The dilemma that requires a clinical decision is, should the therapist inform the client that their perception of the situation is false and untrue? Would the therapist self-disclosure clinically and therapeutically help the client move forward in their treatment? Or would it be detrimental to the client to share this information with them? Who would be affected by the decision of the counselor to self-disclose? And as we just discussed, both would be affected. Okay?
So there would be some shift there. Now remember, for myself, for example, when I would be meeting with a client, patient, I would be sitting in my office and have my master's degree behind me and my bachelor's degree and my other awards, that I had gotten, and my, New York State credentials, certified alcoholism counselor, certified alcohol instructor, and some other awards that I had behind me. So the patient sees me as this professionally, highly skilled, highly trained professional person. You're in my office, in my sandbox, in my playground, and that's what I present, So that's how they're going to see that, because that's all behind me, validating who I am. Okay?
Therapeutic anonymity. According to this perspective, the therapist is thought to act as a mirror on which the client's emotional reactions can be projected. If a therapist discloses personal information during therapy, this therapeutic anonymity could be disrupted. Further, it is argued that therapist self-disclosure may adversely affect treatment outcomes by exposing therapists' weaknesses and vulnerabilities, thereby undermining the client trust in the therapist.
You have to have a blank slate when you meet with a patient. You cannot have preconceived ideas of what they need to work on, although you know what they are. But we can't have the opinion that abstinence is the treatment goal. You have to maintain abstinence as part of your treatment. And we can't tell them what they need to do. Although we know what they need to do, I found that, in general, addicts don't respond very well to telling them what they need to do. You need to do this, and you need that, you need to get clean, and you need to take this seriously. They don't respond very well. And the research shows that they're ambivalent to that, and they will increase resistance to that. So we're going to identify what they want to work on, what their goals are, and then direct them towards those goals. This is the spirit of motivational interviewing, and I found that it works very well. Over the years, and interviewing thousands of addicts, early recovery, and just regular patients, I found that the patient wants us to be genuinely present in the therapeutic alliance, which we're going to identify in this workshop. They want us to be there. They want us to be present in the therapeutic alliance. Now, if you drift off, if you think about something else, shopping, girlfriends, boyfriends, anything else, they will know, and then you've lost them. So you have to be focused and present in the therapeutic session. And that's what patients want. They want you to be genuinely present. And that is the spirit of motivational interviewing. It's a way of being in the therapeutic relationship. And you're the professional, they're coming to you looking for help, okay? And so you gotta, that boundary is a lot of times been established already, and you know, where, what, you might question, you know, what do you want to do, so it can be difficult, Very, now I'm hearing very difficult. Okay, it can be very difficult, right. Okay, so in this setting, it will be necessary for the counselor to place the needs and care of the client above their own needs. Okay, so if it's going to be difficult, if there's going to be an emotional investment, okay, we are human beings, we have feelings, we have emotions, they can be counter-transference, but, you know, it is that we have to place the patient's needs above our own. Every time. Every single time. Okay?